All right, so as you can see, there's still fresh chalk and paint and everything. No parking anytime. When was that approved by the city council? Here in Webb City on Powell Drive, just on the west side of the road. So if anybody wants to park or do anything, stop and visit somebody on Powell Drive, you got to park on the east side on the curb right there. So just for future knowledge, because this is what the city wants to do. Really, really smart here. No parking on the west side. You got to park on the east side of the road. Remember that.
Hi, this is Carl.
Hi, I was calling to find out when the ordinance was passed for no parking on the west side of Powell Drive.
There is no ordinance for the west side of Powell Drive. There's an ordinance that says the uh, street commissioner can determine where parking is necessary, but Powell Drive's never been parking over there. We just never really signed it because nobody parked there. But now we've got people parking over there. That land's actually, most of it's owned by the Perrys. They're pulling out into private property, but that's not a parking area there. Obviously, it's a hill.
Oh, okay. So how do people go visit neighbors? How do they, I mean, how does, like, think about Thanksgiving, Christmas, things like that. Like, people are going to have to park in the road if they're not able to pull off on the side there. And if it was such an issue, then why did they not talk to the citizens that live in those homes to say, hey, how can we come together to um, figure something out for parking in on Powell Drive here? Uh,
There's no way you can't figure anything out for parking on Powell Drive. That's a ditch. That's a hill. That's
There's
not a
no
park.
hill on the other side. You can pull off on the other side, and there's actually, I mean, you have to have a way for people to park. Like these are public roads. This is public parking. This is people have to have a way to park so that they can go. Like even to deliver packages, somebody has to have a way to park so they could go deliver packages.
When they deliver packages, they stop in front of your house, but you can park in your driveways.
But what about if we have more people than fit in the driveway? We got to have somewhere to park. Like is that's like saying that I'm driving on Ornogo Street and I can't park on the side of the road. That's nonsense. And people park on the side of the road all the time. I'm right here on Jefferson right now, and I see 5 cars right in front of me parked on the side of the road, right by the
That road
curb.
that road's wide enough to have people parking on that side, and it doesn't have a ditch on the outside of it.
I don't believe that it's any wider than Powell Drive. I mean, we could measure it. You want to pull over here and measure it, and then we could go measure Powell Drive and see if
Okay,
you're
go ahead.
correct.
All right, go ahead.
I mean, do you want me to wait for you here so we can get a correct
I can call
measurement
me
and we
back.
can, what's that?
You can call me back if you like.
Okay. So, I mean, you're telling me that the city has not put enough funding into their roads to make them wide enough for people to park on them?
Correct.
Okay. So then how is that the citizens' problem? Now you put up signs that say no parking and they're just on the west side of the road. So people
That's
are going
right.
to
You can park
park
on
on
the
the
east
east
side.
side.
You can park on the east side.
Oh, we can park on the east side?
Sure.
Okay, and that's not going to cause any problems for traffic or anything like that. Hello? Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you. So that won't cause problems for traffic or anything like that? Parking on the east side of the road?
Well, just like any other parking, just like you mentioned, Ornogo, Jefferson, all them.
Okay. I mean, it makes less sense to have it parking on the east side, but that's what we'll do. We want to comply with the law and follow it the way you guys want us to.
We
I'm
just
just telling you
don't
that
that grassy area.
you're gonna cause car wrecks, and then now you're notified. So this makes the
Okay.
city liable for these car wrecks that are going to happen because you're going to cause them. Parking on the
Okay.
west side of the road has never been a problem. Nobody's had an issue with it. Nobody's came and talked to the citizens. And if you're going to put up something like that, the citizens should be informed. that somebody should inform the citizens that a new ordinance is being put in place that no one can park on the west side of the road. That way
Right,
we could come and talk at a council meeting and let the people know what's really happening over there.
right.
Like we live there, like the
Yeah.
neighbors live there. We would come in force and say this is ridiculous because
And
we
say you
know
need
it's
to be able to park on
ridiculous.
private property?
There's still okay. How far off the road is private property? There's an easement on every single road, and you know this. You're just being silly now. There's an easement on every single
Okay.
road that the side of the road has so much room that people can park.
But the problem is it's not paved. That's a hill. That's grass.
There, it doesn't matter. There's all sorts of roads that have hills or grass next to them, and you still have an easement on that, on so much of it for
True,
people to park. This is
true, but we don't
public.
have people
This is
parking it.
public information. This is stuff that people should know. You know this, and you're just trying to be facetious here.
No, I'm not trying to be. I'm just telling you, we don't authorize people to park off in ditches like that.
You don't have to authorize it. If the person wants to do something about it, then they could come talk to the people. If it's private property and there's no easement there, like I'm telling you that there is an easement there, then they could come and say something, or they could pay to have it pulled or towed away. But there's an easement. That's why they can't do that. That's why it doesn't matter. And you already know this, but the Perry's got money, right? So then they
I'm
come
sure
to
there
you
is some.
guys. So then they come to you guys and they say, "Hey, we want to use our money to organize our government against another person because we don't like them parking there." Well, if they don't like us parking there, they could come say something to us.
Has nothing to do with the Perrys. It has to do with the Powell Drive. The pavement doesn't go down into that ditch, and people are pulling cars down into that ditch and tearing that ditch up, which is a you
But you
know
just said you don't own it.
I don't know. I mean, we have an easement along Powell Drive, yes.
Okay.
I just without having it surveyed, I don't know exactly where it would be,
Well,
but it does not matter because whether it's private property or easement, we don't want people parking in the grassy ditch area because it's just tearing it up and making it look awful.
okay. What's the my foot was on there. What's so is there an ordinance or something? I mean, you're trying to just talk about something that you desire, but is there any ordinance that says this? I mean, people
Yeah,
park
our
on the
ordinance.
side of the roads all over the place. I can go take pictures all over town where people are parked on the grass on the side of the road and there's nothing being done. There's
Our
cars that
ordinance
have
says you
sat
can't
there
park where
like
there's a no
that.
parking sign.
What's that?
Our ordinance says you can't park where there's a no parking sign.
Okay, so then you put up a no parking sign to stop people from parking in a spot that makes more sense than on the east side of the road. That doesn't, I mean, your guys are going to cause wrecks. You're going to make, this is not going to be good. And this was your decision, or who made this decision?
Uh, I mean, we've never allowed parking on Powell Drive. We've just
You
never had
know,
signs
that's
out.
not true.
We've never
Parking's been allowed. It's been allowed the whole time. You're lying now. There's
never had
been
anybody over there.
we've
Just recently.
we've had people park there for the past 6 years and nobody's cared. That's not true. We can show you pictures over the past 6 years of people parking over there, and we can show you from down the road, other people in front of other people's houses, people parking over there. That's not true. What you're saying is a lie, sir. So, who signed off on this to say, put those signs up? Who
I
made the
did.
decision? And who
I
is,
did.
and what was your name again, sir?
Carl Francis.
Carl Francis. Okay. I wanted to make sure that we have the right person that made the decision that is going to cause accidents and going to be liable for what happens in the future when cars are parked on the east side of the road. That doesn't make any sense at all when there's an easement on every single road. And if you guys need to go out there and build the road up, build the ditch up, or do something about it, then you guys need to do that. That's what a city is supposed to do, to take care of the
Okay.
people, take care of the community, not take away from the community because they don't want to actually do their job and build the side of the road up.
Okay.
So, do we take this to a council meeting? I mean, what is the next step here? Are
You're
you
certainly
going to
welcome.
remove these, or are we going to take this to a council meeting and have this taken
You
care
certainly
of? Or do we
you
just
certainly
wait
are
for somebody to die in a car accident and the city gets sued and you personally get sued for for liability of making such a poor decision?
You certainly are welcome to come to council and request council have the signs removed. That's certainly your decision.
Okay, but council has no idea about these signs. They haven't heard anything from anyone complaining. This was just a decision that you just made on your own.
Yes.
Okay, so there's been no complaints from the people.
No, there has been complaints from the people. I've had several complaints of the cars parked down by the fence under in the ditch.
Okay, and you have record of these so that you could produce them?
Mm, I know who complains. Yeah.
I mean, you have record though, because I mean, you should keep record if there's a complaint or something. Because if it's an issue, we would love to resolve it. I mean, that's not a problem. If there's issue with our neighbors or something, we'll resolve it. That's perfectly fine by us. We'll talk to them. We can break bread and figure out how we can better organize this so that everyone can be happy.
Okay.
So can you give me names or can you give me record of who's complained?
Well, the property owner for one.
Okay, so the Perrys have complained.
Correct.
Okay, is that it?
That's the only ones I can think of right offhand. I mean, I
Okay,
complain because I see the white car stuck down there with nose down into the ditch and just tearing the grass up.
the car was tearing the grass up by sitting there.
Yeah, you can see by looking where he pulls in and out.
I mean, a lot of people pulling out. So if we park, how far off of the road does the easement go so that we can know that we are following, that we're not onto the Perry's property?
I honestly do not know the answer to that,
Okay.
but that's not a parking location.
It is. It's on the side of a road, and every single road has parking unless there's a sign placed, which you just placed the signs today. And I'm calling you today to say, hey, we're local citizens and we are not happy because now we have less parking on the side of the roads. So I'm
Okay.
complaining to say this isn't okay. And I will have every other person on Powell Drive call you and complain so that you can get record of how many people are complaining that these are put in place. I can do that for you. I can build the whatever you need for you to actually be conscious of your decisions,
What if
if that's all it
what if
takes.
we were to come up with a distance off the roadway that you can't go past, and it would be very little. It'd probably be whatever the easement, maybe 5, 6 feet that you can't
Okay.
in the ditch. Would that be okay?
If you say, hey, 5 or 6 feet, whatever, I mean, there's a legal limit that you can pull off of a road, even on highways. There's a legal limit you can pull off of a road for the easement. That's common. That should be
No,
common knowledge from everybody.
not
Like we
paved and
have
it's
to
not.
park. That's not our, it's not paved on a side of a road either. None of these roads are paved like on the side. It's grass. You pull off so that you're not in the road, so you're not causing problems for traffic that flows through. I mean, that
I think
makes
the
perfect
complaints were
sense.
generated because people are nosing down into that ditch all the way up against the fence. That's been the problem.
Okay, well, we can stop that. I mean, we can have people pull right off of the side of the road. We just feel that pulling farther off the road gives people better vision so they can see better, so that they can, if there's somebody there, they would notice. But if you want cars just right there on the side of the road, so that if somebody's trying to walk across the road and they get hit by a car, that's on you. I mean, we will hold you liable for what you want people to
I'll tell you
do.
what. All right, this conversation is going downhill. I tried to
How
offer a
is it going
solution, but
downhill?
now you're
I'm in
building it up.
favor of the
All right,
solution.
council meetings every other Monday at 5:30. The
I'm in
council
favor
wants
of a
to make change.
solution. I'm just saying it's got to make sense. Like,
Does
if that's
council?
what you want, then that's what we'll do. But you're liable for the decisions you make, sir.
Uh, I'm not worried about any liability.
Oh,
Uh,
well, that's
no, I'm not.
terrifying. I mean, and what's your position with the city?
All right, I've had enough. Uh, our next
What's
council meeting is February the 10th at 5:30.
what's your
Okay?
position with the city, sir?
I done told you, I'm the city administrator.
City administrator that's not worried about liability.
No, I'm not.
That
Legal
wow.
liability, I'm not.
Wow, that is very eye-opening and concerning, and I believe every
I'm
citizen
not worried
should know
about
that.
you saying I'm liable.
You're not.
I'm always worried about liability, but I'm not worried about your
Oh,
description of liability.
oh, okay. I just had to clarify that.
All right. Hey, you
Okay.
have a good day, okay?
You too. Thank you for your time, sir.
Bye.
So, no parking was put on this side of the road, and we're following Carl Francis. That's who made this decision from Webb City. And so we're parking over here, just like he told us, because he thinks that's much safer than parking on the right side over here in the grass. We just want to follow the rules as they tell us. See how much safer that is? So much safer, right? I'm glad that happened right now while I was recording.
Hey, Barry, this is Carl.
Carl, how you doing?
Just fine. Hey, Kim's out of the office. Can I help you? I heard you were calling asking for something.
Well, I was gonna ask her to have the council table this decision that you made, so that we could have clarification and we could get people in there. And I also pulled it up on the local GIS mapping systems,
Uh-huh.
and it looks like the Perrys don't own that. It's actually the easement goes all the way to their fence. So, I mean
Yeah,
that's you would need to do a survey to find that out to know
I
for
don't,
sure. But I
I
pulled it
don't,
up, and you could pull it
can I,
up just as
can I
easy.
speak? Can
Yeah.
I speak for just a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I agree that Beacon appears that the easement is quite extends into that ditch. I don't disagree with that. The only way we could really verify, because you remember, easements are owned by the property owners. The city just is granted an easement by the property owner to put utilities and that kind of stuff. Just because there's an easement doesn't mean it automatically allows parking.
Well, that's not
Now,
exactly true, because this easement's actually because this used to be a byway, remember? So this was a byway, and highways actually have verified distances that they're supposed to have that you cannot exceed. That's in state and county law.
okay. Well, that, I was just talking in generality that not all easements allow parking. Some are utility easements. Some are
Yeah,
different things.
I realize you're talking in generality, but I don't like to do that. I like to be specific because we know where we're talking about, so we could be specific on this and we could get this resolved very quickly.
Okay. Again, as I mentioned before, I offered you the idea of setting up parallel parking on that side of the street. You did not seem to be in favor of that. The parking of people pulling down into that ditch is going to be an issue. I think that I might be able to agree to get the council to agree with me about parallel parking, but I know they're not going to be in favor of allowing people pulling nose down into that ditch. So,
Okay.
I mean, are you willing to negotiate parallel parking, or are you going to be headstrong and say that you want them to be able to pull all the way down in that ditch?
I like I said before, I'm not opposed to having the parallel parking. I am going to state the facts that parallel parking is not going to be as safe as the way that they're pulling in there now, and there should be no factor that is taken into consideration over public safety. You're worried about the grass not looking good. I'm worried about public safety.
Well, then, yeah, I think you'll lose that argument. But if that's the argument you wish to take, I'm just telling you right now that I am offering the option of taking a look at what it would take to get parallel parking allowed there.
Okay. And
It's,
I mean, there's nothing that says that it's not. It was allowed before you put the signs up. So you're the only thing standing in the way of anyone being able to park there. That's what I gathered from this.
well, okay.
There is no
Uh,
law, no ordinance, no nothing in place that says you cannot park there. There's an easement that actually grants the right for people to park there, but then you took it away by putting signs up by your own decision.
I agree. I agree. And the entire, I mean, everybody who lives in that area that I know that has talked to me, including council members, have said that, nobody's parked there till recently on that, in that ditch. So,
I mean, I got 6 years worth of pictures that can show you
okay.
people down the road parking there.
I'm just telling you that what I know. And, I'm offering to look at parallel parking, but if that's not, if you wish to be able to pull all the way down in that ditch, you're going to have to get that through council in order for me to move the signs. So I'm not going to allow people pulling down in that ditch. I don't think that, just because it's in a, I think it's more of a public safety issue pulling down in that ditch than because you have to climb up out of there. But,
There's no climbing up out of there. You're being unrealistic. There's no climbing up. It's pretty much a flat ditch where people are parking.
I
There's no
tried. I tried.
climbing.
Since you're not in favor of even looking at parallel parking, I guess I'll see you
I
Monday night
didn't
at
even
5.
I didn't even say that. I said, but you're trying to put restrictions on something that had no restrictions before. That's what I have an issue with. Why would you even be restricting it when there is no issue? There was no issue before.
There is an issue. I mean, somebody's been uh, parking down there, nose diving down into that ditch. That's just not what that roadway is intended for. But
There
you
was
can bring
no.
you can
There,
bring this argument to council, and if they tell me to take the signs down, I'll take the signs down. No problem.
okay, and up until then, you will take the liability of any car accidents that happen because of parking on the east side, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If somebody runs into a car there, I'm not liable for it. That's whoever's driving the car and whoever's parking the car, that's their liability, not mine.
Well, I made you aware of the safety hazard. I
I'm
made
not going
you
to stand.
aware of the safety hazard you made by putting the signs up. So that does put liability back onto you and the city for doing that. There was no restriction before.
What if somebody would go around that corner and run into a parked car over there? Would I be liable for that too?
That's off the road.
In the past, yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean,
It's off
it's
the.
off the road. Why would anybody drive off of the road to hit a car?
Well, it happens.
I mean, yeah, it does. It might have lost control or whatever. That would be on them. But when you put signs up to restrict people from pulling off of the road to park, you are now putting something, making them park in the road, causing more of an obstruction to traffic and a safety concern. That's obvious to anyone that isn't biased to something. And clearly you're biased to something because you're making up scenarios that aren't real. Like the easement shows that you can pull down there, even if you're nosing in, whatever. But now you want to say, oh, only parallel parking. Well, now that's another restriction. Why are you putting restrictions where there's no restriction before? That puts a liability on you and the city because you're doing that.
Okay. Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you for making me aware of that.
I, you're welcome. Uh,
All right. See you Monday night.
all right, but 5:15 to put it to
Yeah.
have it tabled. Is that what time I got to be there?
What do you mean by have it tabled? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, the council should table this to talk about it so that they can understand the safety concerns within it, so that we
Well,
can have awareness within our community, and then they can talk to the citizens that live in the area, so that we can have awareness, and they can go, okay, well, yeah, they're kind of right. If you got cars in the middle in the road, now that's more dangerous than having the cars pulled off of the road onto an easement where it's pretty much flat ground. Like, I understand if you want to put it by where the bridge goes through, where it's really steep there, or up by the road, past where the Perrys have their approach. I could understand that because it's more of a drop off there. Yes, that would be a safety concern, but I don't see anybody parking in those areas. I see people parking in the areas where it's flat, where you can just pull right off and your car can pull on and off very easily. That's where we're talking about. That's where you actually have more of the signs is in those areas, not in the areas where it's a steep ditch.
All right. See you Monday night.
Thank you, Carl.
All right. Bye.
I'm not sure. We got Public Works coming out. I'm not sure what they're doing. Saving grass, hopefully. That's Carl Francis's mission, is to save grass. Oh, hey, we're just trying to comply with what they tell us to do here in Webb City. This is their amazing ability to think. Tax dollars well at work. What are they? What? No. What about the grass? But what about the grass? Well, I didn't think, what? I was just listening to Carl, and Carl said the grass was more important than public safety. What is happening here? I don't understand. What happened? This can't be. This can't be. What? Why? What's happening? This was such a well thought through plan. Hmm. Well, just like that, there was parking again. Could you believe it? I wonder what the safety concern could be. Huh. I don't know. Wonder what they learned in these few moments. It's like, huh. I can't figure it out. It puzzles me. Boggles the mind, doesn't it? Just boggles the mind. That big ditch there, you got to climb up out of that. That's what Carl Francis told me. Look at that. Look at that. They're lucky they don't roll that truck right into that big old ditch you got to crawl up out of. Oh my gosh, look at that guy down there. He's dangerous. Now he's dangerous. Pulling down in that big old ditch there. You're gonna have to climb back out of that. Oh my gosh. Now that's dangerous right there. Whew. What a wild man. Hey, you want to go grab the keys?
To the,
Yeah. It is. Oh my God! Look! Oh, jeez, that's scary. They pull off on that big old ditch there. Oh man, are they even going to be able to get back out of that? That's the ditch Carl was talking about. You got to climb up out of. You know, those wild men over there. So tax dollars paid for these guys to come out this morning, put these poles in, and then to come back out this afternoon and take them down. I mean, hopefully they'll take the poles down too. Just tacky. It's not good for the grass, guys. I'm gonna tell Carl about that. It's not good for the grass. Dang it. I guess I don't know if I have to go see him on Monday even. No. You think so?
I don't know.
I don't either. There they go. All right. Well, I don't know. We'll find out.